Hi, my name's Mark, and I work as a tour guide in the Louvre. Most of the time, my job is pretty predictable. Explain the Mona Lisa, remind people not to touch the statues, answer the same question 100 times. Why is the Mona Lisa so small? But one day, something happened that completely changed how I look at my job. Something so surreal, I almost thought I was dreaming. It was the day I gave a tour to the President of France. It started as an ordinary morning. I had a group of about 20 visitors, a mix of tourists from America, Japan, and a few locals. I was in my usual rhythm, pointing out details, cracking a few jokes to keep people engaged, and making sure nobody wandered off into the restricted areas. Then, as I glanced around the group, I froze. Standing there, wearing a simple coat and blending in with the others, was none other than the President of France himself. No press, no security swarming the place, just him, casually looking at a painting like he had all the free time in the world. My first thought was, this has to be a look-alike. There's no way the actual president is on my tour. But then I noticed the subtle bodyguards at a distance, blending in but unmistakable. My heart sank. This was real. Instantly my brain went into overdrive. What if I mispronounce an artist's name? What if I forget a date? What if he asks me something I don't know? Suddenly, my safe little routine felt like the most high-stakes performance of my life. Imagine explaining the Mona Lisa to the guy running the country. My palms were sweaty, my voice cracked a little, and for a second I considered faking a cough and running away. But of course I couldn't. Everyone was looking at me, waiting for me to continue. And there he was, the president, smiling politely, waiting for me to do my job. So I kept going. I talked about the mysterious smile of the Mona Lisa, the way Da Vinci experimented with techniques. But I added a joke. She's been smiling for over 500 years, and still nobody knows her secret. Imagine keeping a poker face that long. To my relief, the president chuckled, the group laughed. My confidence grew. We moved on to the winged victory of Samothrace. I explained how it once stood on a ship's prow, celebrating a naval victory. My nerves still buzzed, but I started to feel a strange energy, like I was performing on a stage with the president as my VIP audience. At one point, a tourist asked me, "What's your favorite piece in the museum?" Normally I'd answer quickly, but with the president staring right at me, I panicked. I blurted out, "Honestly, the cafe downstairs. Their croissants are undefeated." The group roared with laughter. Even the president laughed so hard he had to cover his mouth. My face turned red, but in that moment, the tension broke. As the tour went on, I noticed the president paying close attention. He asked a few questions, not as a politician, but like a curious student. Why did this artist choose this color? How old is this piece? Each time I managed to answer, sometimes confidently, sometimes improvising. Inside, I was still nervous, but I realized something. He wasn't there to judge me. He was just another visitor, another person fascinated by art. That thought calmed me down. Finally, we stopped at Delacroix's Liberty Leading the People. I gave my best explanation about how the painting symbolized revolution and freedom. I put my whole heart into that moment, speaking not just as a guide, but as someone proud of the history it represented. When I finished, there was a silence, then applause. The group clapped, and the president himself nodded and said, "Bravo, that was excellent." I thought that was it, but at the end of the tour, as people started leaving, the president actually came up to me. He shook my hand and said, "You have a gift." "Thank you for today." I nearly fainted. My legs were shaking. A compliment like that from the President of France. I'll never forget it. The next day, my colleagues couldn't believe it when I told them. One even said, "Mark, you've peaked. Nothing in your career will top this." Maybe he's right. So yeah, most days at the Louvre are just another shift at work. But that one day, I felt like I was standing on the biggest stage of my life. And I learned something important. No matter how nervous you are, no matter who's in front of you, do your job with pride. You never know who might be listening. This has been my insane job story. Thanks for joining me. And don't forget to subscribe to Insane Job Jams for more crazy workplace stories.